The word affordability is all over politics right now, on the left, on the right, in the center, and for good reason. People say in poll after poll that they're struggling with the cost of living, groceries, housing, childcare, gas, all of it. And according to a new survey, that's why people in St. Lawrence, Lewis, and Jefferson counties are feeling pretty low about where they live. A new survey of the community that's not so rosy. That's today's story of the day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from the Wild Center in Tupper Lake, dedicated to strengthening visitors' connections to the natural world. More at wildcenter.org.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Monday, January 26th. First up, Governor Kathy Hochul is vowing to punish the federal leaders who she says are responsible for the violence by ICE agents in Minneapolis. She addressed ICE's killing of another person over the weekend. David Bullard with the New York Public News Network reports.
Federal immigration agents shot 37-year-old intensive care nurse Alex Pretty to death on a Minnesota sidewalk Saturday as he tried to help a woman knocked down by those agents. As he lay on the ground, one agent removed Pretty's legal gun. Then an agent fired a shot, followed by several more. Governor Kathy Hochul denounced the shooting and what she called a pattern of violence by federal agents. She said the government's version of events, that Pretty intended to massacre agents, was a deliberate lie.
When federal agents use lethal force against civilians and then prevent state authorities from fully investigating, it violates the basic principles of a democracy. What it does is makes everyone feel unsafe. Everyone.
Hochul called for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign, be fired by the president, or impeached and removed by Congress. She said Noem lies when she calls protesters domestic terrorists and has shown a profound disregard for human life. Hochul then issued a warning.
When these people who have abused the power entrusted to them by their offices are finally out of power, states, including New York, will hold them accountable.
The governor promised more details on actions the state will take against Noem and the federal government in the days ahead. For the New York Public News Network, I'm Dave Bullard.
The 2026 Winter Olympics will kick off in Italy in less than 2 weeks. They'll run from February 6th through the 22nd. A number of athletes representing the U.S. are from or have ties to the North Country. Amy Feiereisel has more.
At least 8 athletes connected to our region will compete on the world stage starting next Friday. Predictably, quite a few of them hail from Lake Placid. They include first-time Olympian Tate France, who is a ski jumper and just 20 years old. Sean Hollander and Sophia Kirkby also grew up in the Lake Placid area and will be competing in doubles luge. For luger Emily Fischnaller, who has family in the Adirondacks and currently lives here, Milan Cortina will be her 3rd Winter Olympics. Aerial skier Kayla Kuhn, who won gold at the World Cup event held in Lake Placid earlier this month, trained here as a teenager. Johnny Gustafson is a native of Messina in St. Lawrence County and will also compete in luge. He got into the sport in 2008 when he went to an open tryout at SUNY Canton on a whim. And finally, 2 former Clarkson students will represent the USA. Haley Wynn of Rochester graduated from Clarkson last May. She'll play on the U.S. women's hockey team alongside another Clarkson grad, Savannah Harmon, who captained the Clarkson Golden Knights to consecutive NCAA Women's Ice Hockey Championship titles in 2017 and 2018. We'll have more Olympics coverage coming up here on NCPR and through national NPR programming. Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.
People in St. Lawrence, Lewis, and Jefferson counties are happy with their outdoor and educational opportunities, but they're sour on pretty much everything else. That's the top-line result of an annual survey by Jefferson Community College. Catherine Wheeler reports people are continuing to struggle with affordability.
Each year, the North Country Survey of the Community assesses how people in Jefferson, Lewis, St. Lawrence, and Oswego counties feel about their communities. The 2025 survey results show almost 2/3 of people say outdoor and recreational opportunities are good or excellent. People are also happy with education. 62% say access to higher ed is good or excellent, and almost half say the same for the quality of K-12 education. But overall, people are less satisfied with their quality of life. More people rate the factors making up their community as poor. Residents have the most negative attitudes towards affordability, areas like the cost of energy, availability of good jobs, elder care, housing, and childcare. Joel Lalone is the director of the Center for the Community Studies out of Jefferson Community College.
Folks expressed a higher level of discontent in general with quality of life in the North Country than they have probably ever in the 25, 26 years now that we've been doing this.
Lalone says one of the areas that's most clear is childcare. He says about a decade ago, 40 to 45% of respondents said the availability of childcare was good or excellent. That number hit a low in 2024.
And lo and behold, this year it got even lower. And it went down to, in the region, 10%.
About 40% of people in the North Country now call the availability of childcare poor. Lalone says this growing attitude towards affordability and childcare is hopefully propelling change. Governor Kathy Hochul says affordability is her top priority for 2026. At her State of the State address earlier this month, she proposed a slew of policy ideas aimed at making life more affordable for New Yorkers. One of which is exploring a potential pathway for statewide universal childcare. This is the first year the Center for Community Studies also surveyed people statewide. The results show that the North Country is more satisfied with outdoors and education than much of the state, but on the whole is less satisfied with nearly every other factor. Among the North Country counties surveyed, residents of Lewis County reported the most positive attitudes towards their communities, while St. Lawrence County showed the most dissatisfaction. Catherine Wheeler, North Country Public Radio.
Okay, now a quick moment of zen in the super cold. On Saturday, it was a high of 2 below zero, but it was sunny and blue skies. So I took a snowshoe to Lamson Falls in the northern Adirondacks. All right, we're going to have to work quick here because the battery on the recorder dies quickly when it's this cold. I'm here walking to Lamson Falls on snowshoes. It is a bluebird, still as day, and so cold. Another reason I can't talk for very long is because my hand is freezing. So I'll update you when we get to the falls. I'm at this part of the trail that's my favorite part of the little short walk because it's where sort of like your typical scrubby North Country woods yields to some beautiful, huge pines spiraling up into the sky. And what's unbelievable about today is that it's so still. Listen. No birds. No squirrels. Everybody's hunkered down and wait this thing out. I'm leaning up against this big granite rock, looking out at Lamson Falls. It just looks like it's bubbling. More than half of it probably is covered in ice and snow. And so you just see this like frosty, slushy whitewater poking through, bubbling through. And the sunshine, it feels so good on my face. It does not feel like it's -1, -2 degrees out here. And right here, right next to me, is the remains of a snowman. That's a pretty nice snowman. With a little mustache, it looks like, made out of evergreen needles. A couple arms from sticks. Looking pretty good. Made by kids, made by the squirrels, not sure. It's just us out here right now on this cold but beautiful day. I'm David Sommerstein, North Country Public Radio at Lamson Falls. It's me again, out of the woods and back in Story of the Dayland. Photos of frozen Lamson Falls and much more news on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Christopher Watts of Canton and Evan Veenstra of Gananoque, Ontario. I'm David Sommerstein, North Country Public Radio.